Hello, everyone. I mean, the one that's Pale Lady, all right? And Pale Lady, we have a protocol, and that means I need to know your age, gender, where you're tuning in from, which country or city, and if you're male, female, and how old you are. That helps me to know a little bit about you and how to address and see if you're not too young to be here. And who's the other two that are here? Don't be shy. Come on in and join us. And if you've got any questions in regards to false consciousness, fear, desire, ego, breakups, relationships, and the role of the inner movement of the psyche in your emotional hardship, in regards to OCD, OCD subsets, intrusive thoughts, HOCD, and the components of the brain involved in that glitch, in that disorder, you may ask your questions, or you can refer to the videos that we have on the channel, the 3,000 videos, about maybe 2,000 of it in relationships and breakups and thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, and so on, and about 1,000 in the OCD family questions and topics of discussion. So, welcome to the channel. If it's your first time, hey lady, looks like it's the first time you've been here, right? Hey lady says, I have to pay or something to ask my question. Um, it is not a policy, but it was suggested by one of our subscribers from Germany that since I've been carrying this channel for the past 13 years, and the channel is quite elaborate in its discussions and the videos that have been prepared, everybody suggests that they need to support the channel in serious manner. So they decided that there would be any way they can support, as far as either super chat here with their questions, or they go and send an email through my site, mind.seekstruth.com, and then I record their answers and send it back to them. Or they will make an appointment for a one-on-one discussion on Skype. So we'll discuss what's concerning them one-on-one on Skype. But if you can support the channel, by all means, yes. But you don't have to if you can't afford it. First, let us know where you're tuning in from, your age and gender. That will help us out a little bit, at least to know who you are. Pale lady, it's not a must, it's a way to support the channel. All right, let's see who else. No. As I mentioned, Pale Lady, I don't know if you can um, hear me or not. We said this is what the subscribers have decided to do. Super chat for questions answered to support the channel. But if you can't afford it, you don't have to. I hope that's clear. Pale Lady says, I'm a heterosexual male. Yes. How old and which country you're watching the program? And you're heterosexual male, then why do you choose? Okay, I thought you're a lady because it says pale lady. Okay. All right. And Liam Edmonds is here. So Liam, 24, Toronto, says how to stop questioning my sexuality based on HOCD thoughts. But you got to ask yourself, who are you addressing these questions to? And what is the role of that thing that you're trying to address that question? You're questioning, but to whom does this question is addressed to? I mean, obviously, there is an entity that is interfering with your awareness and who you are, you've always been, and who you will always be. Your biology has been and will always be the same. So who is suggesting these questions to be shown up in your head? And who are you trying to convince? If you look at it, you'll see you're trying to convince or respond to one of your organs. In other words, you think an organ, like your liver, your kidney, or your intestine, your brain, it's an organ. You never had this brain until 40,000 years ago. For millions of years, human species were living and thriving and developing, but we never had this brain. It developed into this brain 40,000 years ago. But before that, we were living a perfect life, running, hunting, sleeping, having sex, and no questions, no OCD, no ambiguity about your gender, your orientation, because there was no ability to think and there was no words or ability to speak. There was no words. Words didn't have meanings and thoughts. We were not capable of making thoughts. Everything was instinctive, like animals. And animals don't have OCD. They just do everything instinctively. So suddenly, now that we have been bestowed upon this developed brain, which is a developed organ, you're trying to believe that you need to explain yourself to the organ. And you're believing that this organ, which is a fragment of your existence, is actually above you and is your boss rather than the other way around, that you are the judge of the performance of these organs. If your kidney doesn't work well, you go to a doctor. If the liver, some enzymes are not properly leveled in the same in a certain kind of a level, you go and get help from the doctor and fix it. If you have diarrhea or intestine is in a glitch of disorder, you get some medicine or some, I don't know, yogurt and rice and try to repair. But when it comes to your brain, you think, oh, brain, no matter what, it doesn't get sick. No, it goes through mishmash, and it's an organ like any other organ. You got to help it to bring it back to a default setting and to health. So you're not supposed to be thinking that what the brain conjures up, it trumps you. No, you trump the brain. You judge the brain, and if the thoughts are irrelevant to you, not interested, any interest of you, it's not your choice, not in line with your values, you move on. That's it. And you help the brain to rewire itself through your reaction towards the secretion of thoughts of the brain. The brain learns how to reprogram itself and go back to its default setting because it's a glitch, it's a disorder, and it's got many different components of your brain that could be involved in that disorder, which they all have from amygdala to midbrain basal ganglia to striatum to caudate nucleus. All these are involved in this glitch. Once you understand the research done by many expert psychologists, psychotherapists, or OCD experts, such as Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Philipson, then you learn how to actually retrain and reprogram what's broken. That's all. And that enlightens you and you become stronger of that what you've always been. And you will never have a problem again because you have understood how the brain works, functions, and malfunctions, and how to help it out and not be fooled by it. As simple as that. All right, so we've answered Liam. And Pale Lady says, laughing my ass off. It's something. What's funny? Says, can I talk about my HOCD issue? Yeah, of course. This is 18, heterosexual male, but you're still not telling me where you're tuning in from. I'd like to know that. I read your question, but I would expect that to be answered, please. 18 male. It says, my body reacts to a G word, gay, the word gay. Thoughts and sexual thoughts to it, but why doesn't my body react to the thoughts I enjoy as much as gold because what is your nature? There's no conflict, there's no contradiction between what you are, what your awareness is, what your choice and values and gender is, and what thought shows up. When there's no contradiction between the two, it is of the same quality, there's an agreement, therefore, there's no awareness, there's no reaction, there's no bodily reaction. But when there's something contradiction, there's an anxiety involved, there's a survival involved, there's fear involved. All of that creates a certain kind of a movement, and psyche, being in the OCD glitch, it goes and tries to conjure up with things that are irrelevant to you, but the brain associates the idea or the word, because it represents sexuality, associates that word or any suggestion of that kind, which is related to any kind of a orientation or sexuality, to the concept of sex that is relevant to you. And that's when you get the feelings or whatever that you get, because the brain has brought something, but your awareness actually associates what the brain is suggesting, not to what the brain is suggesting, but to what your nature is, which is sex with girls. But you get the reaction out of anxiety and overactive amygdala. So that's totally different than your interest in that reaction of the body. The reaction of the body to a thought, which brain has the power to make the body react to a thought, is no evidence that the thought about you is correct. It just means the brain is conjure up things based on what it has been exposed to, seen out there, watched or heard, or people's activities, people's behavior, people's lifestyle, or whatever else that is. Somehow we actually became aware of it that exists in the world. And the brain doesn't know what it's doing. It just uses any material that has been placed in the library of the brain, so to speak, and makes thoughts about it. But you having certain values, you see that thought being created, you see the brain has created that, you get anxious, you react to it, your body gets fearful because you're trying to protect your own values, yet you think, and the body reacts to it because the brain has the power to make the body react, and you think the reaction of the body is an evidence that the thought that the brain conjured up is of any value or credibility. Then you get really frightened in the way of thinking, oh, must mean something. It means nothing. Nothing at all. Pale Lady says Asia. And listen, why are you so incognito? What do you mean Asia? Asia is a is a continent. Which bloody country you're watching this from? Pakistan, India, South Asia, like Philippines or Singapore, or is it Iran, or where the hell is it? You're being so cautious. I don't know what for. And it says also, sir, I have heard some people say I have turned from straight to the byword. Who are these fucking people that they know more than you know about you? It's no different than hearing something from other people or hearing it from your brain. It's all not you. Brain is not you, you're not the brain. Other people are not you, you're not the people. So they can say whatever the fuck they want to say. Why is it that you got to believe in them or be influenced by them? Live your life. You live your life by your vetoes and choices, not what the brain conjures up and come up with it, or other people say whatnot. Brain is crazy and other people have their own motives. Maybe they are that and they want you to be like them, or however it is. Who cares? You live by your vetoes and choices. You see something is irrelevant to you, it's not your choice, it's not your preference, then you just move on. That's it. That's all there is to it. No other mystical thing about it. And the brain is no way in hell knows more than you know about yourself, and is not the one who's going to change your gender or can ever do that. When you were being put together in the wombs of your mother, brain wasn't even constructed yet, was not involved. It wasn't even functioning. After you're born, maybe months or a year after, the brain starts learning things and try to understand what is what, and then so on. It may react to a ball or react to food or react to chair or something. Before that, brain is not involved, let alone being able to have anything to do with production or choice of your sexuality or gender when you're in the womb of your mother. So when it wasn't involved in creating you, it cannot be involved in changing you later on. It's got nothing to do with the brain. It's got to do with your chromosomes and genes, and however it's decided the universe or the genetics of you is put together. That's what it is. It's got nothing to do with later on. If the brain had any power like that, then why don't you ask it to give you 2 dicks, or 10 fingers in one hand, or another elbow, or I don't know, a third eye, or whatever, or another ear, or whatever it is? How come it can't do that? But suddenly it can change your gender, yeah? Then why is it that it doesn't do it the other way? If it can do it this way, from heterosexual to homosexual, then why we don't hear the homosexual is turning into heterosexual? How come it's only one way? And if it's one way, if it happens this way, why is it only happening once? Why is it not happening once this way, and then maybe some other years back this way, and then again this way? How many times are they going to go on? I mean, the whole fucking thing doesn't have the logic, other than the fact that if you're born gay, you're gay. If you're born heterosexual, you're heterosexual forever. Now, the rest of it is your brain's intervention of going through the glitches of OCD and intrusive thoughts. And then you got to help the brain to rewire itself through neuroplasticity, through steps that experts like Dr. Schwartz and Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Philipson, they discuss in their videos. And then you can listen and learn and help your brain and help your other organs to come back to their default setting and the health that you expect them to function as they've been designed to function. All right. Yeah, who cares why people say something? And what's the people's credential? What if I tomorrow and come and say, that soccer expert should have hit the ball this way? I can say that, but what do I know compared to them? So people can say whatever they want. Free country. Well, why does it have to affect you? Don't be weak-minded. All right. All right. So I'm going to give you guys something to watch until I go and pour some hot water in my hot chocolate type of thing that I'm making. So I'll be right back in a few minutes. Let's watch this one.
I love you.
I love you. I am crazy about you.
Yeah, me too.
It's so lovely to be together.
Yeah, it sure is nothing better.
You are the best.
You are the best.
Ugh, I can't understand it. How could you have a different mind than I have? How could you not see it the way I see it? I want you to give me more importance. You don't pay attention and entertain me. My life is not as I expected you to make it to be. I can't be with you. You don't make me happy. I don't want you anymore. So what? The guy was just giving me a compliment, and I was not letting him chat me up. It was so innocent.
Hey, why? What did I do? I love you. Everything was fine just yesterday. What gives? What if I chat up other girls just as innocently? You gotta have my head.
We are just so different. Best go on our separate ways. What happened? Why did he leave me? Why was he not understanding me? I feel awful. I will never love again. He didn't try to make me happy. I had to break it off, but I feel so terrible. How can I understand what happened? How can I move on? I miss him. Why am I so conflicted now?
Hey, don't worry, dear. It wasn't meant to be. You will be fine. Just go buy yourself a nice dress and new shoes. You will be fine again. I promise.
Who is that guy? What is he telling them? They all seem to like what they are hearing, as if he has opened their minds about why they feel how they feel.
Oh, he discusses things not so important, like how our mind works and how our thoughts, consciousness, fears, desires, and ego play in relationships and after the breakups. But all you need is to go buy yourself a nice dress and you'll be fine. Oh, he was not understanding you. All you need is a shopping spree in the mall and then take a vacation. It will all be fine.
I got to find out how my mind, thought, and the rest of it works, and why I feel the way I do. I don't want to go shopping. Ah, I see what he means. Ah, I understand. I feel better already. I am ready to feel good again. I am ready to move on, to fix my life, and build better relationships, better future. I am feeling pretty confident. I got to talk to him one-on-one.
Damn, I thought she is the one. Everything was all good. She suddenly turned as if I was no longer who I was anymore. Why did she do that? Why do I feel so devastated? How can I feel better? How can I understand what is going on in my head? How can I go on? I will never fall in love again. There are no good girls anymore. They're all after something. I don't even know what the heck they want.
Have some beer. You will feel all better and forget the whole thing. Here, buy some of my brew and forget about your pain. Everything will be okay. You'll find another girl, go on a trip, take a vacation.
I gotta find out how my mind, thought, and the rest of it works, and why I feel the way I do. I don't want a brew. Ah, things finally make sense. I now understand why she did what she did, and why I feel so shitty about it all, and why I miss her so much. I now know how to not miss her, and how to move on and build a better me, more confident and more aware of the role of my thoughts, consciousness, desires, fears, and ego in my relationship, and how I feel after a breakup. I got to talk to him or watch his videos on YouTube.
It may all seem like a mystery to you right now, but you can always go to my YouTube channel where you will find over 300 videos on this subject and more. You can find out exactly why you feel the way you do and why your thoughts are the way they're reacting and the role of your psyche in all this. Plus, how to feel good again, become strong and get your confidence back and ready to move on. And more importantly, how to move on. And you will certainly be fine once you know how your mind works, dear. If you still needed to talk to me one-on-one, that's always possible through my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. There you can book a Skype consultation time for us and we can chat about what's concerning you. This is what I do with all people who need it from all around the world. All right, here we are. So, Ganesh Pradeep says, hello, sir. Hello there. Remember, please, we have a protocol, your age, gender, where you're tuning in from. And Pale Lady still hasn't told us which country he is from. So if you guys are not going to observe the little that I ask, despite of the fact that I do my best to answer your questions, well, that's not in line with how the spirit of our channel. So make sure to let me know your age, gender, where you're tuning in from, so I have an idea who I'm talking to. Ganesh says India, age 24. Ganesh says, sir, my present girlfriend left his boyfriend and came to me back then. But I get thoughts about, you get thoughts about that. What if she's going to do the same thing to you? But I get thoughts about her past. What about her? What's her past? She had a boyfriend, didn't work out, she left him, and now she's with you. Haven't you had a girlfriend that you left her because it wasn't working out, but that you didn't want her or she didn't want you or something wasn't working out, and then you got another girlfriend? What about that? Is that not considered the past? And what's wrong with that? Oh, pale lady, don't worry. No, I don't ban anyone. Why should I ban you? You're a polite gentleman, and I appreciate you participating. I'll get to you. Right now, I'm busy with Ganesh. I'll get to all the questions. Ganesh says, no, sir. She cheated him. Uh-huh. And came to me. I see. Why do you think she cheated him? There is no justification for cheating. I mean, if a girl doesn't want to be with a guy or a guy doesn't want to be with a girl, they got to separate first and then they go and do whatever they want to do. Or if they want to be with somebody else, they better talk about it with each other. Say, listen, I don't want to be with you, or I like you, but I also want to have other opportunities for whatever reason. And if the other one is okay with it, then you have an honest relationship and you'll be cordial, loving, and caring, and you have your own lifestyle. But if you simply hiddenly cheat in a way, if you're in a committed relationship, if you're in a committed exclusive relationship and you go and sleep with somebody else, well, that is uncalled for, that is cheating, and that is a behavior that she may do the same with somebody else. So your concern is not really out of ordinary, and so I can see why you're concerned. So what is your question here, Ganesh? And how old are you, Ganesh? I don't remember if you mentioned that, or did you? Oh, here, India, age 24. So are you going to marry her? If you're not going to marry her, so then what do you care? Just enjoy your life and be nice to her, and she's nice to you. And then if you guys hit it off and prove to each other that you can be for each other and loyal, then you go ahead. And if it doesn't, then you move on and she moves on. So why are you so hung up on that? What she did? You're 24 years old. You've got no business to get married anyhow. All right. Now, in the meantime, let me go to Dub 97, male 27, California. Says, do you actually believe that people are born gay or born straight? And he says, I don't. Sexually developed through proper development. It's environmental and well based on upbringing. What do you think? Well, it's a very good question. It's very complicated because being gay obviously has a lot to do with, I don't know, in many different genes, probably not just one gene like male and female, XX chromosome or XY chromosome, and that's very clear. But in that particular orientation, there are lots of variables that I'm not aware of, and the science itself is probably knows a lot more than I do. But it's a combination of how the genes are put together, and combination of maybe what the um, the development in the womb of the mother, what it goes through. I don't know what happens there, but whatever it is, once the child is born, the environment that the child is growing up does influence the child as well. So it is very important for parents to create that good role modeling, and which would be in line with the gender of the child. So it would be coordination rather than the child is born heterosexual and the environment is a confusing environment and not a direct um, vector for a child's upbringing and behavior as a male or behavior as a female, as that would be uh, in the case of that is how they have been born, as a male or as a female, as a heterosexual male or as a heterosexual female. So the environment that they're growing up also should be in line with what their gender is at birth. If it's not, then they create an imbalance and the child gets confused. And in many countries, there are heterosexual male and they have no inclination toward being homosexual, but they're perverts and abusers in the public who are preying on the children. And when they repeatedly try to do these sort of things to a child, out of whatever fear or out of whatever it is that the behavior, and they actually molest the child, after a while, the child psyche feels that maybe that is part of his a normal behavior in the society, or that is what his inclination should be because of the influence of the actors on a sexual manners towards him. So that's not a safe way for upbringing of a heterosexual male. And in any case, whether heterosexual male or a not heterosexual male, children must be safe and have a proper environment and safe environment without being corralled to become this or that, and let the child himself or herself to find that out as it grows up. And if you have been old enough, like, 5 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, 15, 16, and you have lived in a certain way that you know that you're heterosexual male or heterosexual female, then that's it. The rest of it after that is something that you got to take care of your lifestyle and promote that what you have chosen, that what you have been born as, and take care of it rather than being involved in certain kind of lifestyles that is not in line with your values. And for whomever it is in line with their values, well, uh, more power to them and live their life the way they wish. But if you're not interested in that certain kind of a lifestyle, I don't see any reason why you should be around that lifestyle more than what's normal and necessary, as we all have friends of different um, inclination and we interact with them in a social manners rather than overly being involved in a lifestyle that is not suitable to your own. That's pretty much what I have to say about that. No, nothing happens to you, pale lady, whether you're associating with whoever you're associating with, whether their gender is or inclination is like you or not. You don't change just because you're around, but it just might not be um, so balanced for you. That's basically it. Otherwise, it doesn't turn you or anything. You just are you comfortable or not comfortable? It's like there are a group of tennis players and you're a tennis player and you're more comfortable being among the tennis players rather than being among the uh, baseball players because you don't know how to play baseball, so you feel a little bit out of place. So that's basically the difference. So naturally, if I'm a I don't know, equestrian, or if I'm a tennis player or a soccer player, if there's a jamboree of all kind of sports and sports people, well, I would probably go and join the group that I know how to play. Same thing in social living. If you are interested in the kind of people who have a similar mentality, similar lifestyle, whatever it is that your lifestyle and mentality is, then you have more comfortable feelings to be around them and socialize with them. And with other people, you also socialize, but maybe not so much as the ones that is more closer to your is closer to your um, values and consciousness and contents of your consciousness. So that's basically the idea. Otherwise, uh, you know, if you don't know how to play tennis, you hang around with the tennis players, you just will observe it, and but you still don't have an interest because your interest is in, I don't know, soccer or football or baseball or whatever it is. So to each his own. Ganesh says, I want to be nice to her, but all these thoughts come and says, I want to forgive and let go, but thoughts are sticking around head. But what thoughts? I mean, she cheated on her ex-boyfriend to be with you. And you've been with her, I don't know for how long. And you can see if she's been cheating on you or not. And if she's faithful, well, she's also a new person. She's made a bad choice or a good choice. And she was with that guy, and she noticed that they're not maybe getting where they should be getting or where she prefers to be getting. So she cheated, which is not a good thing to do. She should have talked to the boy, to the boyfriend, and then separated and then go on with whomever she wants to. She didn't choose that. That was a bad choice on her. But she's also grown now. It's a different person. She probably looks back and says, look, that wasn't the right way of doing it. I should have actually talked to the boyfriend and said that, look, I'm not interested in this relationship anymore. I want to break up. That's what she should have done. Just because she did something when she was younger, that doesn't mean her mentality remains the same, or she's going to be a villain of that kind, or is going to cheat on you too. It's not necessarily true. She may, well, you've done few things that is not the best way of handling it in your life, but that doesn't mean you're going to be doing the same thing. Again, you probably have learned from it and you will choose to do it differently this time because we all grow. So give her a benefit of the doubt and see how she behaves, how she treats you, and as you go on. And if you find out later on that it's not working out, and the chances are at this age, you're 24 years old, you hardly know who you are, let alone knowing what kind of a woman you want for your one and only. So a couple of years later, you've had your relationship with her, she had her relationship with you. You may decide that she's not the right girl for me. So doesn't matter really if she does cheat or not at that time, or you guys separate, you're not going to be getting married anyhow. But if you want to have a conclusion of this, well, then you got to wait until time passes and then go through time, see what happens, rather than conjuring up something and creating fear for yourself right now. It's it's um, it's it's unproductive. I mean, why would you do that? Judge her for who she is today, how she behaves with you. Yes, she did a bad thing. I agree, but you don't have to make her cry and swear to you, I will never do this again. Don't put her through that. She's done what she's done, and she did it for herself and for you, maybe. But at this time, give her the chance to prove to you that she's wiser woman. And if she decides to not to be together, you guys talk about it and say, listen, um, it's not written in stone. We may or may not be together. It depends on how we treat each other, how we create trust between each other. And I want you to understand that I appreciate the way that you're treating me, and I would like this to continue. However, if we decide that we are not compatible for one reason or another, we must discuss it and separate before we go and become involved in another relationship. That's very classy and civilized way of doing it. I appreciate the fact that you left your ex for me, and I'm honored. But at the same time, you know that that wasn't the best way of handling a relationship that doesn't work out, and you should have discussed and broken up. And then, so we would also feel that this is not a precedent, that this is how we would handle when a relationship doesn't work out. So I want you and I both agree that the best way to respect the relationship and each other from both sides is, if we decide that we are no longer suitable for each other, we can't resolve our differences or whatever issue that might come up, we will discuss, we will separate, and then we will look for another opportunity out there somewhere, rather than behind each other's back, we go and get involved with someone else and then decide to separate. That would not be respectful or appreciative of the time that we are spending together in this journey of life. That's a conversation you can have. Yeah, I understand, pale lady. You make your own decision. What makes you comfortable, that's what you do. There's no obligation on your side to be with this group or that group. Whichever individual or group that makes you feel comfortable, that's the one you choose. If your lifestyle, if your decision for your own personal comfort is the way you're describing, well, that's what you do. You don't have to do what other people do or don't do. You live by your choices and vetoes, not that it has to be this way or that way, or in a certain way. Yeah. And Ganesh says, sir, how to know, is it normal thoughts or anxiety about your girlfriend? Well, it's obviously a concern for everybody who's in a relationship, when his girlfriend or vice versa has cheated on her ex to be with you. That is concerning behavior, but doesn't necessarily mean whoever has done that is going to do it again, or that's her default way of dealing with the relationship that doesn't work, or that she's looking to do the same again when she is with a relationship that works. So I suggest you, instead of looking for conclusions and turning uncertainties into certainty, and therefore in the meantime getting all kinds of anxieties and worries and fears induced into yourself for no good reason really at all, just enjoy the relationship, and you judge it if you come to that crossroad. If that ever happens, then you can see there was a pattern. But just because you were late to school one day, that doesn't mean you're going to be late to school every day. It happens that day you were too lazy, you slept, or you had too much breakfast, or whatever. You weren't thinking right, or you forgot about school, or whatever. It's some reason that you were late at school. But you can't conclude that, okay, this kid was late at school, therefore he's going to be late at school every day. Therefore, we just don't want to admit him to school at all. That's kind of a harsh way of saying it. We're human beings, we make mistakes. So, you know, it depends on how you talk with her and what her views are. And it could be a conversation over tea, and you guys can hash it out and get to know each other better a little bit. And again, remember, I don't know how long you guys been together, but it's been maybe a while. So she's growing every day, like you're growing every day, and you may have your values changed a little bit, refined a little bit. So just chill. Don't think about something that hasn't happened or may never happen. Just and if it does happen, so what's the big deal? You just tell her fuck off, and that's it. You go. What's a big deal? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What is it? You love? You think she's the last woman on earth for you? Don't. You're 24 years old. Don't think that way. Pay lady, that's perfectly normal for many people. I used to be the same way, and I wanted to know because I wanted to protect my lifestyle, and I wanted to not put myself in a position that would not be in line with my values. But and naturally, you don't have to necessarily be so aware of it. But at your age, you're diehard heterosexual. You want to protect especially in this society that everything is is in existence and every lifestyle is there. So you're choosing your own group and you're selective, just like you're choosing the food you eat. There are all kind of food available, just like you're choosing the sports you appreciate and you get trained or involved in, just like you choose your friends, depending on their interests and their uh, interest in the sports, interest in movies, interest in reading, interest in future, or interest of many kinds. And you also might decide that, you know, this kind of a criteria is not good for me, it doesn't make me comfortable. That does make me comfortable. So you choose it that way, and that's perfectly fine. And later on, you will notice that naturally you would constantly be finding the kind of people that have more things in common with you. And naturally, you wouldn't find the type of food or type of sports or type of people that you are not having much uh, values in common with. So you don't have to worry about it. Just live your life and be respectful to all, and understand everybody has their own way of living and lifestyle and inclinations, and they're all respectful, and we are all in this journey of life, and we don't have to necessarily approve of each other's habits or lifestyles, but we need to understand that everybody has the right to live the way they want to live, and without jeopardizing anybody else's freedom and right to live the way they want or infringe on their lifestyle, and be respectful to each other and wish well for each other. And that's basically it. You don't have to dislike or like anyone. You can choose your own venue and your own activities and your own friends and your own, I don't know, uh, whatever you're interested in, your own books, the one you read the books you like to read. You find the friends you like to friend based on, whatever criteria you wish to be your standards. That's basically it. No, Angelo, actually, it's just a thought, and they won't like it. It's the brain's glitch that is in the OCD and makes them think that they do have any interest because the thought is looping. Otherwise, in reality, they don't. They're not interested, the person. And that's why they're actually questioning and say, why is this thought here? And I'm not interested in this. How can I get rid of it? Oh, these are the awareness versus the brain. There's a contradiction between what the brain suggests and what the awareness, the persona of the person is. Because of this contradiction between the brain's thought and the persona, the awareness of the entity, the human being, there is a awareness because there's a contradiction between these two. And that awareness would never be there if there was no contradiction. And if there is a contradiction, that means the thoughts are different than you, and you've got nothing to do with the thoughts, irrelevant, different system. You just have to help the brain to regain its balance and its default setting according to the research done by the experts in OCD and intrusive thoughts and so on, and help your brain to rewire itself. Simple as that. All right. Looks like we answered all the questions tonight, and we don't have any more questions. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing this time with you. So it's time for me to do other things tonight. It's 12 minutes past midnight here in Vancouver. And the ones who were kind enough to let me know where they're tuning in from, I appreciate that. And you can always click on the like button, and you can always click on the bell to let you know, and choose the word always, or whatever it says, all. So whenever I go live, at least YouTube, if they do, inform you that I'm going live. All right. So this time I say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. Don't forget, I have a site, mindthatseekstruth.com. Mindthatseekstruth.com. If you need to talk to me one-on-one on Skype, you go on the site, make an appointment, and for first-time clients, if you register for 1 hour of consultation on Skype, I'll throw in another half an hour on me, so we won't have to rush, and we'll enjoy a cordial and relaxed and patient talk and finding in detail what your concerns are, and we'll deal with it one-on-one on Skype. Otherwise, you can put a question through the site, and it's a nominal fee that you'll pay $25, and I will record an answer and email the recording to you 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, depending on what the question is. So I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mindthatseekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.